All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Brandon, Camping Trucker 78. Today we're going to be looking at alcohol stove. It's going to be first in just some videos I'm going to be making here for a while since I'm sitting around the house bored out of my mind. And it's just stuff I have. First one we're going to do is Goshawk. This is the Goshawk Era 2.0. and the AZ-0 pot stand / wind guard. It fits together just like that right there. We'll get these weighed up, see if they're actually weighing what they're supposed to be weighing. The screen is supposed to be 35 grams according to the website. I'm showing 36. And this is supposed to be 100, 101. We're going to take them for what they are off the website. Now the Era 2.0 burner is a little bit different from the 1.0 in that you see these ridges inside here, which is supposed to make it have a better preheat time to it and make it more efficient. There's 20 heat storage blocks built inside of this. This thing is, I mean, just solid as all get out. It is hard anodized aluminum. It looks like a jet turbine is what it looks like. But they have a swirling flame to them. And so I'll light this up later on. We'll do a boil test with it, see what kind of times we get on boiling water with it. And then I'll also shoot a little video of it at nighttime while it's dark outside so you can actually see the flame pattern at night. I'm not going to be using a windscreen. It looks like it's relatively calm outside, but I like to use them in how they're going to be used outdoors and everything. If I need to use a windscreen, I'll use a windscreen. If I don't need to use a windscreen, then I'm not going to. We'll see what it actually does outside where it is subject to any little breeze. It is an alcohol stove, and they are very susceptible to wind. And then there's one other thing I'm going to try too, is everybody's talking about the firemaple pot. Well, that firemaple pot sits down on there perfectly. But what I don't know is if it is going to allow enough air to breathe through for the burner to actually do its job and boil water. So we're going to try it with the standard 750 milliliter pot that comes with the kit that I bought. And we're going to try it with the firemaple with the heat exchanger on the bottom of it. It's a 600 mil pot of usable 600 mil. And we'll see what happens with both of them. Take the times on both of them and see what happens. Just going to be using heat in the yellow bottle because that is what I have and that's what I'm going to use. So we'll come back a little later on and get the boil test going outside and see how that goes and get the flame in the dark. And see if we can't do something here tonight. Have a good one. Be back shortly. All right, we are back. Set up outside here, and I'm going to put 1 ounce of fuel in. First up, we'll do the 750 mil pot from Goshawk. There's 1 ounce. We'll get this lit up. And we're going to go ahead and put it on right away because I don't wait for them to bloom. It'll bloom just like that, and I figure you're wasting heat, you're wasting fuel if you sit there and wait for it to bloom and everything like that. We'll get a good look at the flame pattern on it later on. I mean, I personally wouldn't sit there and let it bloom up if I was out in the woods or something like that trying to boil up water for a meal. I'd get it on there and let it start rolling as soon as I could. can see the thing is throwing out a lot of heat. It's not showing up on camera, but you can see the heat signature coming out from the sides of it and everything around there. So it's down there, you can see it. It seems to be sputtering for some reason. I'm not sure if that's the word I'm looking for, but it's like well, I guess it is. It's sputtering a little bit every now and then. I don't know why that is, if it's just because it hasn't been used enough to break it in. I don't know if there is a break-in period on these. I wouldn't think there would be, but I might email Goshawk and see if they've had any other issues with it like that, or see if they know what's causing it. Maybe I don't know if they have the fuel that I use available in Australia. I don't believe they do. That's where this Goshawk company is from. That's where it's made at. So it might have something to do with the fuel I'm using versus the fuel that they have available to them. And it is actually, it's getting close. That's quick. Everybody says you have to boil your water. You have to boil your water. You have to boil your water. If you're using water out of a unsure water source, yeah, sure. But not very many people are dipping straight up out of a creek to get their water, So really all you have to do whenever you're using, like this is filtered water out of a sink or whatever, heat it up enough for what you're utilizing it for. If you're making coffee or whatever, you're not going to drink boiling coffee. So it's just nothing more than a waste of fuel to take your water up to straight boiling, like I said, unless you're getting it from an unsure water source. If you're getting it from someplace questionable, fine, so be it. And we're going to say that's a pretty good, yeah, that's full-blown roll and boil there. We'll set that off to the side for now. And I put 1 ounce of fuel in there, and there's just loads of fuel. And you can see it's like it's bubbling up. I'm not sure if that's where it's pulling fuel into the walls or the heat storage blocks are heated up and it's causing it to belch back out. I'm going to review the video pretty close on this in slow motion and stuff and see if I can't figure out what it's trying to do. Either way, it got with it. Now, I'll tell you what, as a matter of fact, we're going to try it out. I bet you there's enough fuel in there, that 1 ounce, to go ahead and do. Let's see what this does. It might choke it out. Got a little bit of garbage in there. Set it down on the table. It just rained here, and really doesn't sound like it's slowing it down that much. Can't see in there real well. And so you know now that, 1 ounce of fuel is going to do way more than 2 cups of water. So there's no way to snuff this one out. You just burn whatever you've put in there. So that being the case, I mean, just adjust your fuel. You know what it's generally going to use for your area. Varied on the water temperature and the outside temperature, wind, so on and so forth. But just vary the amount of alcohol that you're going to put in there so you don't waste it. Just going to take a look and see how much. There's a little bit of fuel left in there. Yeah, we're out. We didn't get that to a boil. It did get it pretty warm. So we'll retry that part of it. All right, we're back. We have reset the water, 2 cups. Fire that up. Don't spill it. Put that on there. Lid on. And we'll see how long this is going to take. If this does work efficiently, there's not much of a way for air to get in and really affect this the way it is right now with that heat exchanger pot on there. You've got your vent holes there midway up the actual stove where the windshield pot stand fits onto the Era 2.0 stove. So if this works like I would hope it would, this would be a really, really viable setup in about any weather conditions. I mean, your extreme winds and everything like that, you'd still have to put something around it. And even if it takes a few minutes longer and everything, a lot of people get stuck on boil times and everything. Yeah, that's important. Efficiency is important, especially if you're doing a big backpacking trip where you're really trying to conserve your fuel and everything. But you just, I go out to the woods. I go out to the woods to have a good time, to relax. This is relaxing to me. So if it takes a little bit longer for me to sit here and watch my water boil up, I'm not upset about it. I'm just having fun. And that's part of the reason I'm making these videos, is because I'm off work right now. I'm bored and I'm just having fun. It's starting to tick. You can hear that heat exchanger ticking a little bit, I think. And you probably hear vehicles in the background. I do live by a highway. I am at the back of the house trying to negate some of the sounds of the highway and everything, but I'm sure it's going to come through. I did put another ounce of fuel back in there and everything, so we'll see if it's able to get the job done and everything. I'm sure it will, because it was able to do the other with plenty of fuel left in it, just not enough to do a whole nother boil. Yeah, we already have steam coming out of there. We won't be long. What I didn't mention earlier, this pot is the Goshawk pot. Kind of got mixed feelings about it. I'll go over it a little bit more detail in another video. I do like it. It's just probably not my favorite. Well, it sounds like we are just about there. We're gonna call that roll and boil. Take it off and should be able to still get maybe an idea of what that flame pattern's looking like. Still unsure as to why that's bubbling out down there. I have a theory on it, but I'm not going to talk about my theory until I email Goshawk and see what they have to say about it. You can kind of get a view of that flame pattern and everything, how it's coming out and swirling around. All right, we're going to call that for this one. I'll let that burn on out. It's got a little ways yet. I'm not going to keep you around for all that. So, appreciate you watching. Catch you on the next one. So, I appreciate you joining me this evening for a little bit of goofing around, making a video. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.